Hey everybody, I am really bad at making decisions. So I thought I'd make a video giving myself some advice on how to make decisions. Because most of my how to advice kind of videos are where I find a flaw in myself and then try and fix it and then share it with everyone else in hopes that maybe someone else can learn or help from these tips. So today we're going to learn how to make decisions. Woo! Roll the title scene. Dun, 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 dun. One of the first things you can try doing is writing down all the fears you have attached to making this decision. Sometimes just letting things off your chest can help you feel maybe more calmer, that it's out of your system and down on paper. And then you can help to sort of understand where you're getting this fear from of making a decision, and maybe realize at this point that it's not that bad, that's not a tough decision to make, or if it is, then that's absolutely fine and you don't need to judge yourself for having that fear. Another thing you can do is to come up with the worst case scenario. This may sound a bit negative thing to do, but sometimes if you come up with the worst case scenario, you may realize that the likelihood of that happening isn't actually that high. In which case, if you did make a certain decision, then the chances of something really bad happening are quite low. Or even if they are, even if the odds of the worst case scenario happening were quite high, at least because you thought of it, you can sort of prepare for that to happen if you choose to make this decision. Or you may realize that at that point, that because the worst case scenario is a certain thing, you don't want that over another choice of decision that you have. In which case, at that point, you know your decision, don't you? And another thing you might want to consider is whether making this decision is permanent. For example, if you choose to go down one path, whether there's still opportunity later on to change paths or go back and make a different choice or go down a different route entirely. And if that's the case, then that may mean you have more decisions to make, but at least you've got that peace of mind that there's still that option available to do something different. And that may help to reduce your fear of making this decision as well. Another thing you can do is talk to friends and family about the decision you have to make, and because they're your friends and family, they'll want to help you with your decision because they want the best for you. So sometimes be careful with asking too many people for advice, because then you might end up getting loads of conflicting, punching your hands together pieces of advice, and then that can just make you get even more confused about what you want to do. But then if at the end of the day, if you do disagree with what they have as advice, then you may at that point know what you want to do because you're disagreeing with them, but still accept everyone's opinions if you ask other people for advice. Another thing you can do, going back to writing, is write down the list of all the pros and cons of making each decision and list down all the different options you have of, like, if you want to do something, whether like all the different routes you could take if we're going down the path, or and then that may having everything down on paper can help clear your mind a bit, so you can visualize what decisions you have, and then looking it can help you to decide what you want to do. Going back to making a decision, if you find that your family and friends aren't the greatest at giving advice, then there is always the good friend of the internet, and sometimes you may find best advice on like blogs and forums, maybe, or the where people ask questions about different things, and sometimes doing research can help, and you get different viewpoints sometimes, which can help you create a more balanced decision about what you want to do. Remember, when you're trying to make a decision, to remain calm, because when you are not calm, you're not necessarily thinking rationally about things, and that isn't the best mind frame to make a decision at. And don't try not to let making decisions stress you out like it makes me sometimes, because then that's not healthy for the mind. But sometimes it can't be helped when it's like big decisions, or it may seem like a big decision to you, it may not to someone else, but that's okay because we all have different opinions on how heavy a decision is, if that decisions have weight, how much weight a decision may have on your life, for example, and trying to not stress about it is difficult. I've lost my trail of thought. But that's a good thing, because sometimes when you're not thinking, consciously trying to stress yourself out of making a decision, sometimes when you're not thinking about it, you might end up getting some like eureka moment where you realize, actually, I want to do that. And then you've made your decision. Yay! But yeah, so sometimes separating yourself with thinking about what decisions you have to make can make things. Oh, there's now a shadow on my wall. Make things easier to make decisions. Also be aware of impulse decisions, which are usually just when you, on the spur of a moment, have an idea or something that you say you want to buy something or do something, and it's not been something you thought about before. Sometimes they can turn out to be good decisions to do something, like spontaneous things, but sometimes you end up later regretting making that decision. Sometimes with decisions you just got to trust your instincts and go with that. But sometimes decisions can make you lead you to feeling guilty afterwards, but that is, in a way, part of life. For example, sometimes I randomly decide to go to the shops and buy really unhealthy food, which I know I shouldn't buy because I'm trying to be healthy and stuff, because summer's coming up and healthy and stuff, and stuff and stuff and stuff. But it's okay sometimes to make bad decisions and feel guilty about them, because then you can hopefully learn from them. I'm not the best at learning from my decisions, but I'm getting better, hopefully. I say hope a lot. And yes, another thing you can do, really, if you really need to make a quick decision, is, this is kind of obvious, but like if there's only two options, just flip a coin, and one heads is option A, tails is option B, and then if you get one of the options and you're like, yeah, that's cool, then go with it. And if you're just like, nah, I don't really want to do that, flip again, then you know that you didn't want that option, which means that that's sort of going back to instincts, and it's like a gut feeling, you know what you want to do, but you're overthinking everything, maybe. So yeah, this turned out to be a really long video, maybe. I've probably cut loads of that out though, so I don't know what I'm saying. And I'm going to probably cut out the bit where I say I'm cutting loads of stuff out, because, yeah. Last thing is that I wish you the very best in whatever decisions you have to make in your life, and I hope that maybe these tips that I've given may help someone out there. And if you have any more advice about making decisions, feel free to share them with me, because I still need to make decisions about some things, and that would be great. Yeah. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, or a like, or a whatever you call this shape. And I will really appreciate it that I know you've enjoyed watching this video. I shall see you again soon. Remember to have a backup plan as well when you're making decisions, just in case things don't work out. But hopefully, like I said, I hope that everything goes well for you. Yes, that is the end of the video. I always end my videos with now, that is the end of the video. Put my hands on my head and relax. Okay, I've been Hatster. You've been you. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye! Because summer's coming up and healthy and stuff. And stuff and stuff and stuff.
Stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. Stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. Stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff.